Hi, in this video I'll be providing an update on the performance of two free horse racing tip services that I've been monitoring since the start of the year. I've been recording the results of Lucky Loaders 15 and BettingExpert Stephen Harris. Both services provide tips via YouTube, and I'll let you know how their selections have fared as I conclude my trial of their selections. I'll also tell you what I like and dislike about each of the services, so let's jump on over to the computer and take a look at their results. Okay, I'll start by looking at Lucky Loaders 15. In case you haven't seen any of my previous videos, I'll briefly explain how the spreadsheet works. Hopefully it's fairly self-explanatory. We've obviously got the date. Chris puts his selections up as either a nap, a next best, an extra or a long shot. So this column is just indicating which of his bet types it is. Then we've got the course, the time, the horse, his stake, whether it's a win or each way bet. If it's each way, what are the each way terms and places. AP is his advised prices, that's the ones he actually puts up on his channel. EP is the evening prices that were available at the time when his video goes live. BOG is the best odds guarantee that are available at 8 o'clock the following morning. And these two columns are if there's rule 4 deductions, depending on what time the horse was withdrawn, then the result, the starting price. Profits are based on the evening prices and the best odds guarantee prices. Then these columns add up the profit and loss for each of his different types, the nap, the next best, the long shot and the extra. So my last video was the 12th of February. So if I just scroll down to there, I'll put a line here. So this is where we stood when I updated on his performance previously. Based on the evening prices, there was 33 points profit, and best odds guarantee prices, there was 24 points profit. That's pretty much as high as he got during the trial. Performance started to drop off, and by the time we got into early March, profits were pretty much hard from where they had reached, and Cheltenham's selections didn't do particularly well there. Before the start of Cheltenham, he was on 17.6 points profit, and by the end of it, down to 10.75. Quite a good day on the 25th of March, where within the space of an hour he had a 4-1 and a 14-1 winner, so that was a highlight. I'll talk about wavering down in a little while. So since then, there's been profits and loss. And at the end of April, based on the figures that I've recorded, he'd made a profit of 5.55 points based on the evening prices and a loss of 3.72 points if you're taking the best odds guarantee at 8 the following morning. So we have a look at that on a chart. So where we were previously was on after 90 bets. So we're up here at the top. So the trend has been gradually going downwards since that time. Now the evening prices have outperformed the best odds guarantee, but if you look at the gap between the two, it's been fairly constant really since back here, and that was because if we just nip back to the selections, on the 21st of January, Dawson City, he put it up at odds of 20-1, but Bet365 were offering 25-1 that evening. 20-1 was the best odds available the following morning when the best odds guarantees were available. And by the time the race went off, the starting price was as low as 13-2. And it was a nap selection, so it was a 1 point each way. So that made a 6 points difference between the early prices and the best odds guarantee. So that gap has been pretty much maintained since there. So without that one selection, best odds guarantee returns would only be 1 or 2 points lower than those from the evening prices. So that's probably a little bit misleading here when you look at it without looking at the individual figures of how it got there. So throughout the 4 months of the trial, there was a total of 271 bets, of which 80 returned a profit. So that's a 29.5% profit strike rate. And as I say, the evening odds returned a profit of 5.55 points. Best odds guarantee, a loss of 3.72 points, and to SP it would have been a loss of 52 points. Now here I've broken the figures down for the nap, the next best, the long shots and extras for each of the 4 months that I've been monitoring the selections. So the nap was really helped out in January with that 25-1 winner, and the next best, long shot and extras over the 4 months have all made a loss. So it might be worthwhile just following his nap selections, but those figures were boosted by that one selection. I also thought it'd be handy to actually include the prices that Chris shows on his YouTube channel. And this is the breakdown of profits for his nap, next best, long shots and extras, again broken down over the 4 months. So if we compare January against January, the January figure that I recorded was about a half a point better than what he recorded. But there was 5 points more I recorded just from that one selection where I recorded 25 to 1, where he only recorded 20. So if you take that one out of the equation, he actually quoted a figure of 4.5 points higher than I've recorded. So then if we look at February, over 4 points higher he's recorded. March, it's over 5 points higher he's recorded. And April is just over 2 points higher that he's recorded. So the recorded profits he's shown for the year to date is 17.13 compared with the 5.55 I've shown, and that's taken the best prices that are available once his videos have gone live. I've looked back through the results to see the main reasons why the figures Chris shows are so much higher than those I've recorded for his tips. It takes an hour to an hour and a half from the time Chris records his videos to edit them and get them live on YouTube. The evening before racing, when Chris uploads his videos, it doesn't take a great deal to move the prices, and it can often be the case that the advised odds he quotes are no longer available at the time the video goes live. He uses either the advised odds or starting price, whichever is the higher. Well, that's fine when you're betting at best odds guaranteed prices with the bookmakers, but Chris is using the advised odds the evening before racing, and very few bookmakers offer best odds guarantee at that time. The majority don't offer it until 8 or 9 o'clock the next morning. There's been at least one occasion where he's advised betting with enhanced places offered by Sky Bet, then showing profits based on SP. With the selection wavering down, he advised the bet at 12 to 1 with Sky Bet, paying out on 6 places, and then used the SP of 14 to 1 in his profit and loss figures. Sky Bet don't offer best odds guaranteed on the enhanced place races, so to my mind the bet should have been settled at 12, not 14. Chris uses the advised prices when they're bigger, even when they're not available at the time his video goes live. It seems he wants to have his cake and eat it when it comes to the prices. He ignores any Rule 4 deductions. Putting selections up the night before racing, there are times when horses are withdrawn from the race prior to the off. When that happens, the bookmakers make what is referred to as a Rule 4 deduction on any bets that were placed prior to the withdrawal. Depending upon the odds of the withdrawn horse at the time it is withdrawn, this can make a significant difference to returns, but Chris seems to ignore any deductions when calculating his profit loss. During Cheltenham, Chris put up selections in each race of the festival. It's therefore not easy to exactly work out how he arrived at his profit loss figures for those days, but I couldn't get his figures to tie up. My best guess is that he worked out 3 of the each way bets on quarter odds rather than the 1/5 odds that the bookmakers were paying. This can make a significant difference when we're talking about odds of 25 or 33 to 1. It also looks like he omitted one of the losing bets. Now each of these points may seem minor on their own, but can up to a sizable difference over the course of the season, and as you can see, taking them all into account over the past 4 months would have reduced the overall profit from following his selections down from 17 points profit to just 5.5 points. Okay, having said all that, let's look at the pros and cons that I see for following his selections. The pros. Chris has a good racing knowledge. In his videos, Chris demonstrates he has a good knowledge of racing and takes time to explain the reasoning behind his selections. Selections are free. Chris's Lucky Loader 15 results are as good, if not better, than a lot of the paid services, and they cost nothing. Chris receives revenue from the ads shown during his videos. He's therefore incentivised for his selections to do well, as the more popular his YouTube channel becomes, the more views his videos get and the more ad revenue he earns. Provided the evening before racing. That means there's plenty of time to place your bets, even if you work a regular 9 to 5 job. He's made a profit during the trial. Although I don't feel it's possible to achieve as big a profit as Chris claims following the Lucky Loader 15 selections, they still managed to return a profit when taking prices the evening before racing. His snap selections were well in profit during my test, although a lot of that was due to Dawson City's win at early odds of 25 to 1. Following his selections isn't likely to make you rich, but could provide some fun bets, and I wouldn't put you off following his selections. Okay, now let's look at the cons. The prices are not always available. The hour or so between Chris recording his videos and them going live on his YouTube channel can mean the prices are no longer available. For that reason, and the others I've just mentioned, it's unlikely you'll be able to achieve the profits claimed on his channel. The more popular the Lucky Loader 15 channel becomes, the less profitable the selections are likely to be. Back in December, Chris had 2,260 subscribers to the channel, and at the last look he's got 2,890. Having more people watch the videos isn't going to affect the profits he's able to claim, as they're based on the prices available before anyone has viewed them. But it will make it harder to obtain those prices. There's not great liquidity in the market at the time the videos go live, so it doesn't take a great deal to move the odds. Other work commitments sometimes get in the way. Chris is a freelance horse racing journalist and often has other work commitments, e.g. working for Sky Sports. It does mean that some days he's unable to record a video. In my previous video, I said I didn't think there was any way of knowing when he's not going to be uploading. However, he does send out a message on Twitter to say when he'll not be recording one. So if you want to follow his selections, it's worthwhile subscribing to his YouTube channel and following him on Twitter so you get notified when he uploads a video and when he won't be. Next, I'll take a look at Stephen Harris's selections for the BettingExpert website and YouTube channel. He has a nap and a value selection each day, and all of them are put up as win-only bets the night before. The YouTube video usually goes live at 5:30 in the evening. So again, my last update was around the 11th of February, and at that point he'd made 44.78 points profit based on evening prices and 50.7 points profit based on best odds guarantee. So the best odds guarantee prices were doing the best out of the two there. After my last video, his profits dropped initially, but then a tremendous run of winning bets took things to a new height of 74.65 points based on best odds guarantee and 65 points based on the evening prices. And that seemed to use up all his winners, because from that point onwards there was a sharp decline in performance. And it's very much like the snapback effect that I talked about in a previous video, where after a good winning run you enter a losing period where things tend to even themselves out. There were a few winners here and there, but the general direction was down and a lot of the profits were given back. And then about the last week in April his luck changed when Potterman won the Bet365 Gold Cup at Sandown. Now, he was definitely the third best horse in the race, but Enrillo interfered with Kitty's Light in the run to the line, and the interference cost Kitty's Light the race, and the stewards demoted Enrillo to third, giving Potterman the win. It was just a piece of luck that Stephen needed, and it sparked a good finish to the end of the month and the conclusion of my trial. So we look at the chart. 0.57 was on my last update, and the chart shows how it declined for a while and then hit new heights before being this steady run of losing bets interspersed with a few winners, and then, as I mentioned, the upturn in the last week of the month. So unlike Lucky Loaders, the best odds guarantee at 8 o'clock in the morning have been performing the best, with evening prices being a little way behind. And because Stephen Harris provides all his bets as win only, I've monitored the Betfair starting price figures as well, which have performed as well as the prices taken the evening before. So for a total of 203 bets, he's had 48, and these are actually winning bets, so horses that won the race because there's no each way betting, given a 23.6% strike rate. Evening odds have made a profit of 38 points, best odds guaranteed price is 45 points, and the Betfair SP just below the evening odds of 37.55, with starting price given 13 points. And I've broken down the figures for each of the 4 months between daily naps and the value angle. So the value angles performed really well in January and February, but have done less well in March and April, whereas the naps did well in January, made a small profit in February, a loss in March, and then a bounce back in April. So overall, the naps have made a profit of 10.67 points, and the value angles have made a 34.43 points. So how do the results that I've recorded compare with those they claim for the service? It's not so easy to make that comparison with BettingExpert, as they just show figures since they started the bets, which for the naps was back in October 2011, and for the value bets was January 2012. But if we take a look at their website, their overall profit claim for the daily nap is 216.57 points, and for the value angle is 384.3, giving an overall profit of 600.87 points for the two. Now, they don't update these figures every day, and if we scroll down, they last updated the individual results on the 29th of April, so I'll make an assumption that those figures are up to and including that date. You can actually request a list of all their selections going back to October of 2011. And I requested that just before I did my previous review on Steve Harris's service. If we jump over to the spreadsheet, as I say, their daily naps go back to October 2011. Scroll all the way down. This is when they sent it through to me on the 12th of February, so it includes all the results up to then. So if I go back to the end of 2020, at that stage they were on 210.67 points profit for the daily nap, and the value bets were on 349.4 points profit. Now I've done some further breakdown of their figures, and on here I've done a year by year breakdown. So here's the figures they're currently shown on the website up to the 29th of April. And so taking the figures where they were at the end of 2020, this shows how much their profit they're claiming for 2021. So 5.9 on the daily naps and 34.9 for the value angles, giving a total of 40.8 points. And here's the figures that I've recorded. So I've taken the two losing bets from the 30th of April, so they hopefully tie up with their results from the 29th of April. And so I've recorded 11.67 and 35.43. So in that respect, I've got them down for nearly 7 points more profit than what they've actually claiming on the site. And here I've used the figures from their spreadsheet to break down how their performance has been on a year-by-year basis. In 2013 and 2015, they're actually missing some results, and Andrew said that was due to a technical problem. Now obviously those profit figures might not be up to the 29th of April, but if that is the case, then the claims they're making seem very reasonable. Okay, so what are the pros and cons of Stephen Harris's selections? First of all, the pros. He achieves a good long-term profit. Tips made a good profit during my trial, and it backs up the long-term profit claims on the BettingExpert website. Stephen Harris knows his stuff. Stephen has over 20 years experience in the UK racing industry and has proven his ability in finding winners. Selections are provided in a clear, concise way with no waffle. Straightforward win-only bets. There's no worrying about which bookmakers are paying the enhanced places. Bets can be placed via Betfair without issues of getting accounts restricted if profitable. He gives a straightforward nap plus value bet, which gives them wide appeal as they cater for those who like to bet at short odds and also those who prefer the bigger prices. And obviously the tips are free. There's no need to wait for the video upload. Selections are posted on the BettingExpert website 2 days before racing, providing plenty of time to get the bets placed and obtain the best odds. But if you want to know Stephen's reasoning behind the selections, you'll need to wait for the video to be uploaded. Okay, let's have a look at the cons. Backing win only can cause long losing runs, especially when it comes to the value angle selections, where he has a 15.8% strike rate overall. However, you can always back the value bets each way if you prefer, but I don't know what the effect that would have on profits. Some of the odds claimed are unobtainable. I do have a small degree of concern about the profit claims, as some of the odds quoted in the videos and on the website have been wide of what's been obtainable. But having said that, it hasn't impacted on the overall figures during the period I was monitoring. Non-runners. With Stephen putting up the tips 2 days before the race, there does seem to be a high degree of non-runners resulting in no bet. As we go into the summer months, hopefully that will not be quite such a big issue. Overall, I've been very impressed with Stephen Harris's ability to find winners, and if you like to have a daily bet on the horses, you can do a lot worse than following his selections. If you found my analysis useful and want to see the results of other tipping services I've been monitoring, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so YouTube lets you know when I upload future videos.